Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Mr. Bani. It is an honor for me to present today. My name is Maisya Dhia, and today I will present my research proposal entitled Systematic Literature Review Study Related to Usability Learning Management System for an Analysis of System Usability Skill. It is important to emphasize that this presentation covers Chapter 1 to Chapter 3 only. It focuses on the background, problem formulation, objective, and research methodology. The analysis and result will be conducted in the next stage of the research. Next. Okay. So you can see the overview of what we will discuss about. Okay, next. Learning Management System, or LMS, have become a core infrastructure in modern education. They are used to deliver learning materials, manage assignment, conduct assessment, and facilitate communication between lecturers and students. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, the use of LMS has increased significantly not only in fully online learning but also in blended and hybrid learning models. As a result, LMS usability has become a critical factor in ensuring effective learning experience. However, many studies that indicate the mere availability of an LMS doesn't guarantee its effectiveness. If a system is difficult to use, confusing, or inefficient, user might experience frustration, low engagement, and reduced learning outcomes. This situation highlights the importance of evaluating LMS usability in a structured and evidence-based manner. Next. Okay, usability, according to human-computer interaction principles, refers to how easily user can learn, use, and feel satisfied with a system. In LMS context, usability affects first, how quickly student can access learning materials, second, how efficiently lecturer can manage course, and the third one, how comfortable user feel when interacting with the platform. One of the most widely used instruments to measuring usability is the System Usability Scale, or SUS. SUS consists of 10 standardized statements answered on a Likert scale and produce a score ranging from 0 to 100. Many researchers prefer SUS because it's first, simple to administer, second, technology independent, and the third one, and suitable for comparing usability across different systems and contexts. For this reason, SUS is selected as the core usability measurement instrument in this proposed study. Next. Although many individual studies have evaluated LMS usability using SUS, several gaps remain. First, existing studies are fragmented. Each study evaluates a specific LMS in a specific context, making it difficult to obtain a broader understanding of LMS usability trend. Second, there is a high variation in study design, sample size, and reporting practice. Some studies provide complete statistics while others report limited information. Third, there is a lack of systematic synthesis that summarize first how LMS usability has been evaluated over time. The second one is what type of LMS are most frequently studied, and the third one is what usability aspects are most frequently discussed. These gaps justify the need for a systematic literature review. Next. Based on the identified research gap, the objective of the study proposed are first to systematically identify and review journal articles that evaluate LMS usability using the system usability scale. Second, to describe how SUS has been applied in LMS-related studies, including research, context, LMS type, and respondent characteristic. The third one, to identify commonly reported usability aspects discussed in previous studies. The fourth, to provide a structured reference for future LMS usability research and system improvement effort. At this stage, this objective define what will be analyzed, not the result themselves. Next. Okay, this study will focus on journal article published between 2015 and 2025. The literature search will be conducted using three major databases. There are Scopus, Google Scholar, and IEE Explorer. Next, this research adopts a systematic literature review approach to ensure transparency and methodological rigor. The SLR process begins with first formulating of research question, second definition of inclusion and exclusion criteria. I will tell the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The inclusion criteria first journal articles, studies focusing on LMS, and studies applying the system usability scale. For the exclusion criteria is non-journal publication, studies not related to LMS, and studies that do not use SUS as the usability instrument. And for the third, for the SLR process is development of Boolean search string. The screening process follows the PRISMA framework, which include first identification, screening, eligibility assessment, and final inclusion. At this proposal stage, PRISMA is adopted as a methodological framework to ensure transparency, consistency, and replicability in the literature selection process. The detailed implementation of this framework is illustrated in the following slide. Next. On this slide, I will present the PRISMA flow diagram, which illustrates the literature screening and selection process applied in the systematic literature review. At the identification stage, a total of 94 records were retrieved from three academic databases, Scopus, Google Scholar, and IE Explorer. These databases were selected to ensure broad coverage of both international and technological-focused publications related to learning management system and usability evaluation. Before the screening process, no duplicate records were identified, and no records were removed by automation tools or for other technical reasons. Therefore, all 94 records proceed to the screening stage. During the screening stage, the titles and abstract of all 94 records were carefully reviewed based on the predefined inclusion and exclusion criteria. At this stage, 8 records were excluded because they were not directly related to LMS usability evaluation using the system usability scale. As a result, 86 articles were considered relevant and were retrieved for full text assessment. All full text articles were successfully assessed, so no report were excluded due to retrieval issues. Next, during the eligibility stage, the 86 full-text articles were examined in more detail. At this stage, 36 articles were excluded with explicit reason. The main reason for exclusion was the 33 studies didn't report SUS quantitative data, particularly the average SUS score, which is required for inclusion in this review in addition. 3 studies were excluded because their research design was itself a systematic review or another form of secondary study, rather than primary empirical research. Finally, after completing all screening and eligibility steps, 50 journal articles met all inclusion criteria and were included in the systematic review. These studies from the final sample that will be used for descriptive synthesis and were applicable quantitative aggregation in the next stage of the research. This RISMA-based selection process ensures that the included studies are relevant, transparent, and methodologically appropriate for answering the proposed research question. Next. Okay, after the relevant articles are selected, Data extraction will be conducted to collect information such as first the LMS type, second year of publication, third number of respondent, and the last is reported source metrics. The data analysis will consist of two plain approach. First, descriptive quantitative analysis. It's intended to summarize how SUS is used across studies, and the second one is qualitative thematic analysis, intended to categorize usability related issues discussed by previous researchers. At this stage, this step represents a planned analytical framework, not completed analysis. Next. Okay, for the several limitations are anticipated in this proposed study. First, the review relies on secondary data, meaning the researcher doesn't directly interact with system user. The second one is reporting inconsistency across studies may limit comparability. Third, this study focused exclusively on SUS, so other usability instruments are not included. These limitations are acknowledged early to ensure transparency and realistic interpretation of future endings. Next. As supporting evidence, the appendix presents the list of journal articles identified and selected for this study. This appendix demonstrates the breadth of literature coverage and support the feasibility of conducting the SLR. At this proposal stage, the appendix functions as documentation of research readiness, not as a presentation of analytical research. Okay, next. In conclusion, this proposal outlined a systematic and structured approach to reviewing LMS usability studies using the system usability scale. By applying an SLR methodology, this research is expected to provide a solid foundation for future analysis and contribute to the improvement of LMS usability research. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy to receive question of our feedback regarding the proposed methodology. Thank you.